G'day guys, welcome to my 2024 Melbourne Cup preview. This is the fast version. These are the runners that I give main chances to in the race. I'll also talk about a few that I've left out very quickly just because they're in the betting and why I've left them out. I'll try and get through it as quick as possible. The runner by runner goes for an hour, so hopefully this one's nothing like that. We'll get straight into it. The horse that I've got on top, and it's simply because of price, is a horse called Land Legend. He's been pretty good to us, and I gave him a really good chance in the Caulfield Cup, and he showed what a sort of enigmatic horse he is there. He did a lot wrong, and the earmuffs go on Tuesday, so I'm hoping that they do the trick. But he's certainly shown more than enough staying ability. It's just a matter of whether they can curb his quirky traits. So this was his first run in Australia last preparation, and I was pretty critical of the jockey for his ride here because they went quite fast in the race, and the jockey decides to make an early move. But as it turns out, the horse is certainly a pretty hard-going sort of creature, and you know, Tyler was probably correct in saying like he just wanted to go faster. He will appreciate a fast tempo potentially in the Cup on Tuesday. Hopefully that unfolds for him, and hopefully those earmuffs that he's got on just do the trick to just settle him down and get him a little bit more relaxed. He does draw a little bit awkwardly, but Zach Purton aboard, I'm sure he'll have a plan, and hopefully he can nail it. So here goes Land Legend. As I said, they've gone fast here. They run really fast overall time. This was his first run in the country at 2,600 metres, and he just circles the field, continues to circle the field, takes the front, and you watch him here. He sort of he changes leg and nearly goes through the fence around the point of the turn here. So he's a little bit quirky. He runs away from the whip. Look at him. He loses his legs. He hits the running rail. He's already made like a 1,000-metre run at this stage, and his last 200 metres here, or 150 metres, is just incredible. He sort of picks himself up off the canvas and runs away from them. So, you know, I just remember watching it at the time and thinking, gee, Melbourne Cup, and, you know, look like pricks his ears across the line. Just an incredible effort, something we don't get to see out here all that often. Came back this time in and was given a bit of a barrier trial first up, 1,500, went straight to 2,000 in what was a strong race. And Elias, CL Wolf, Golden Path, Zardozi was in that race. He then stepped out in the Metropolitan with Zardozi, who's another horse that I will cover in this preview. And here he lands in a pretty good spot. So this is Rhys Jones rode him this day. He stayed one off. He just had the horse outside him at this point, which is Zardozi. You can see, if you sort of watch it quite closely, he over races pretty much the whole way. You can see him quite keen here. So this is 2,400 where he's quite keen, and excuses for Zardozi as well, who sat wide, no cover. I did get a little bit of cover sort of leading up to the bend Zardozi, but for most of the race, you can still see here that Land Legend's giving Rhys Jones a torrid time. And eventually sort of he lets him slide. At one point, he loses his legs from under him around the bend. Zardozi protests against him, which was dismissed. So here, he sort of, Unusual Legacy comes, tries out, and you see they both lose their footing. Again, he's able to sort of pick himself up off the canvas and continue this run. This is the quality that I love in this horse, that he just sort of refuses to lie down. He does so much wrong at his races, but yet still refuses to lie down. You can see the gaps opening up behind. And, yeah, like he stuck his nose out at the right time there. He then went to the Caulfield Cup on a heavy track and, again, did a lot wrong. And, if anything, improved his figure off the Melbourne race. So he drew inside here, which I think Zach Purton was just probably frightened of what was going to happen. And as you can see, he gets quite worked up, hits the running rail again. He definitely doesn't like to be cluttered up, this horse. In amongst them there on the inside. You can look at him go now. So throwing his head, back 3, back 4, back the inside here, throwing his head, doing everything wrong. That's Zardozi on his back this time. So Zardozi had the softer run this time. Buckaroo's back in the field here. Again, look at him. He's just continuing to just give Zach an absolute nightmare of a ride up until I think about here. He sort of spots a gap, and Zach elects to push out from underneath these horses and get in the clear and come around them. So here comes Zach in a second, I think. Like, look at this horse. Couldn't do any more wrong. Here he goes. So pushes out. I'm not sure how far from home they are. But they've gone quick. And so that's the 800. So say 1,000 from home, this horse has been exposed 3 wide and forced to chase. Duke de Sessa's effort's enormous, by the way. But yeah, so he chases Duke de Sessa. He levels out. But he doesn't give up. Buckaroo's come from the back. This is Zardozi pulling off his heels. Other runners in the race that are in here as well, sort of back in the field, circle of fire. There's a lot. But again, look at him not lying down. And I just love this quality of this horse. He just refuses to die. And if these earmuffs do the trick and he actually settles and gets some sort of conservative run or a back to follow and just actually does the right thing by the rider during the race, I think this horse is going to run an almighty race. He's in the right camp from the Waller camp. A lot of his horses are really peaking on grand final day, which is what you want to see as well. And whilst I normally don't like earmuffs, this horse in particular, I think, he has to try them. And if the gamble works, $19 looks a pretty big price. Second horse I'm going to look at is Absurde. I'll have a look at his Melbourne Cup run last year. So we'll talk about both of, so I don't have to talk about Vauban as well. They both ran in this race last year. I think the difference between the two horses is that Absurde's got a little more guts to him, that he can maintain a run a little bit more than Vauban, who really needs to have a perfectly timed run, in my opinion. They had decent enough runs in transit here. They're both sort of, 4 or 5, 6 lengths off the lead in nice positions with cover. And coming to the bend, they basically, so stop it here. This is Vauban coming out through the middle, and this is Absurde coming wider. Yeah, they hit the front, Absurde especially, just way too early here. I think exposed way too early. And what you sort of notice, here's Vauban and here's Absurde. There's other horses in the race. This is Akita Sushi coming down the outside, is it? Or is it even wider? It might be the one even wider. Oh, no, that's Akita Sushi here. This is Interpretation, who's in the race this year. But these two runners just hit the front way too early. And without a fight, sort of picks them up and spits them out. I think this was a stronger race, last year's race. And, whilst, he's still in front or running second with not far to go, Absurde, with 100 to go, he's, 200 to go, say he's running a clear second. He runs 5th. I don't think he's lost any admirers there, honestly, whereas Vauban was beaten 14 lengths. Their form leading into this year is very similar. We'll have a quick look at Vauban. We'll have a look at, what are we looking at? Absurde's last start win. I'd be completely forgetting about his run on the 17th of August. I think that was just a little tune-up. These trainers are just so good at getting them ready for one race and not getting penalised. He's only won a listed race last time out. But if we have a look at it, maybe we won't. Chester Stakes. I don't want to look at my channel. Oh, I know what I've got to do. So if we have a look at Absurde's last run, I'd be completely forgetting about the 2 starts back, 4th or 5th beaten 31, just a complete clean out barrier trial. And then he went to Chester and ran the Chester Stakes. Racing and Sports providing the beautiful links here. Twitter always a saviour. So this is him back on the inside. He certainly had this is only a listed race. Had a nice soft run, small field. But I just love the way that he takes this inside run as soon as it opens, and he can quicken. And I just think that he can sort of maintain that top a little bit longer than his stablemate Vauban can. So here he goes quickly, sprints up the inside. He has a perfect draw on Saturday. Gate 7, Kara McAvoy, who is really an excellent staying jockey. That's his best attribute, I believe. And just love the way that he looks like fresh through the line here. Just an absolute beautiful pipe opener for a race like this. I expect him to run very well from a soft draw. I think they'll time his run better and just, you know, count to 20. And this time around, I expect Absurde to be harder to beat than what we saw last year. So Absurde's, I'll probably go close enough to market favourite, to be honest. But yeah, I think it's going to run really well. The next horse is another import in Sea King. He ran in the Ebor at York. Let's see if I can get this up here. I think I can. So he ran 6th at York. And One Smooth Operator also ran in this race. The sort of two things I took out of this was that he's sort of back towards the inside here in the blinkers, or is he? And One Smooth Operator is coming to the outside, had an unimpeded run, so he's back here. So Sea King's had to sort of poke up the fence here and never really got a lot of clear room. Didn't jump cleanly this day. This is him back here, sort of towards the inside, and One Smooth Operator is coming down the outside, unimpeded. I just thought his run had a lot more merit to it here than One Smooth Operator. I thought he had a lot more upside. So this is him here. You can see the rider sort of flapping around. He's never really balanced. And this is One Smooth Operator on the outside. This is Sea King back in the inside here. He just never really got clean room to move, I didn't think. He draws 1. Holly Doyle to ride. I think he can hold a spot sort of front half of the field on the fence there without doing a lot of work. And when the race opens up late, I expect this horse to be sort of building through his gears. We'll have a look at his Bendigo Cup win here. Fastish run. Well, it wasn't a fast run race. It was a solidly run race, but they actually accelerate from a long way out and maintain it. So a really high rating fast run race overall. The tempo is actually soft because they sprint home so quickly. But now this horse in the OTI colours, 1 out, 2, 3 back, absolutely perfect position. The horse is travelling quite strongly throughout, and the rider actually elects to take off quite early again. So that's 1,100 metres from home, and puts itself into the race, and just maintains this strong sprint where he sort of puts them away. And when he pulls the whip through, he changes his leg and really lets down and maintains his front of the line. So I think this horse is the pick of the European horses coming here that we don't know a lot about. I sort of tried to directly line him up with One Smooth Operator, and you know, whilst he was pretty good at I think it was Geelong, he's had a few feed issues. I thought he pulled up quite quickly across the line there, and I thought he had a lot go his way. Unusual Legacy having issues and other runners held up. I just feel this horse has just got a little bit more upside. Talking time form figures from the UK efforts, Vauban and Absurde have got a little bit higher figures. But this guy, to me, looks like he's really acclimatised well. He's peaking for the race, and you know, gate 1, whilst he's going to need a bit of luck to sort of get moving when he wants to, I think if he gets it, he's going to be able to maintain a strong sprint to the line. I don't see him having any dramas with the 3,200 metres, which is obviously always a big question mark in this race. And I think he's going to run really well. Holly Doyle to ride, 50.5 kilos from gate 1. We'll look at Zardozi now. So we covered her in the Metropolitan. We covered her in the Caulfield Cup where she was with Land Legend. And then she had a little pipe opener at Flemington yesterday. So that's Saturday, only a few days prior to the Cup. And this is a thing that Bart Cummings was known for doing, just getting a bit of miles into their legs, really giving them a nice clean out. We saw with Vicestina the other day when she had the little mishap and track gallop before the Cox Plate. It's not a bad thing for these horses to blow the cobwebs out a few days before a grand final, and she looks to be really peaking. If you take the line that she didn't really like that track last start, you know, the weird part is she's got heavy track form and soft track form. But if she just didn't handle that track and it was just not to her liking, and Caulfield, you didn't really suit her that day. She's going very well. Her run in the Metrop was excellent. And then this is a beautiful closing effort back towards the inside here, back to a mile. So she was 2,400 back to a mile. She'd already had two 2,400-meter runs. And she was able to go through her gears here really well, laid up the fence. Blackfart is no slouch when it comes to sprinting, and she's picked her up and gone past her. And, she's a quality mare. She got beaten 8.5 lengths in the Caulfield Cup. If you just forgive that run, she loves Flemington. Back onto a firm track, beautifully drawn in 4. The rider's had a sit on her now and should know her. And, yeah, she ticks a lot of boxes. She also lines up through that Land Legend form, which is, I'm obviously a fan of, and that's another reason why I'd be an imbecile if I was with Land Legend and wasn't with Zardozi, considering she's $14, $15, $16 as well. So she's a distance query to some degree, but the soft draw should offset that a little bit, and 51 kilos, she looks extremely well placed here. So Zardozi has to go in. Buckaroo we'll talk about. I think he's short enough, but he may get out to silly price. He's drifting, maybe the draw. His effort in the Caulfield Cup was excellent. His effort before that was, this is the Turnbull.
Starter has them. Ready and away.
This is the Turnbull at Weight for Age when he had Via Sistina beaten, and then he kicked back and she kicked back and won. So this is Via Sistina coming to the outside, and this is Buckaroo coming off its back. Duke de Sessa, who came out and won the Caulfield Cups, left behind him here, and arguably we'll have another look at his run in the Caulfield Cup because it is worth looking at. He was put in a long sustained run in the Underwood to win that, and he's sustained a long run here, and you think, well, maybe he's died on his run here, and Via Sistina's just kicked back and won because he's died on his run, but then she's come out and put 8 on him in a Cox plate. So, it's hard to be pretty critical. And then he goes to the Caulfield Cup on, again, a track, a heavy track. Whether that suited him or not, I'm not sure. But you can see here he's very unlucky. This is him here in the blinkers, about 5 off the fence. He looks like he's going to hold a spot in the first half of the field, and then he just gets poleaxed here, squeezed out. He gets checked again about 4 or 5 times during the race. He gets keen. In here, look, he gets checked again from an inside draw here. Another check there. He just continually finds heels all throughout the race. He's never in control of when he can get moving. And that's just not easy to do in a Melbourne Cup. So this is him here. And eventually he gets clear about here. And really and truly, like, Duke de Sessa wasn't stopping. But the race is off and gone. And here he comes, sort of rattling home, beating home Land Legend, beating home Zardozi. I think this is the right form. And, look at him. He doesn't look like he's stopping, does he? So an extra 800 metres he has to go, but he just looks like he's in completely rare form. It's just that $6 price tag with gate 21 not being proven at the distance makes it difficult to, really be wanting to step into him. But if he gets north of $10, I think you've definitely got to have him on your side. And I think he's going the best of any horse in the race. It's just the draw that he has to overcome and the 3,200 metres, which is, the combination of the two. Obviously, a wide draw like that tends to make it more difficult to overcome a distance query as well. So that's Buckaroo. And the last horse I'm going to touch on is Akita Sushi, or Akita Sushi. This horse ran in the Melbourne Cup last year, was forced back from a wide draw, gate 20, and came wide. And I just think we'll have a very quick look at that. I'll try and get it so it's near the bend. So this horse is right towards the back, and here, coming wide. So has to spend a lot of energy coming around the entire field and making a long run early. And what this sort of led me to believe that maybe the horse doesn't run the 32 out strong, because he definitely peaks on his run here, and the horse like Interpretation picks him up and spits him out late. But he did have to make that long, wide, searching run from a long way out. This time around, he doesn't have to do that, or hopefully he doesn't have to do that, and he can maybe cut underneath a few and from gate 10, Jamie Carr, or if he can save some ground, he's in good enough form coming off a Moonee Valley Cup win. We'll have a very quick look at that. I'm not so sure about this race in particular. It's got a few warning signs on it, and I'm not sure it's super strong, but this horse did run second to Duke de Sessa 2 starts back in the Herbert Power, sitting up on speed. It was a return to form, really, ridden more forward on a dry surface. He's certainly found his form of last year at least, and you know, there's not an exceptional amount of speed here. So if he settles in the first 5 or 6 and can maintain a sprint here, so he had a perfect run here, took off nice and early, put the race away. He wasn't exactly dominant and racing away from them, but I don't think he's that sort of horse. I just think he's sort of going to be, you know, in a nice enough position here, and he can build off this again. So he's had the 2,400, 2,500 metre runs, now stretched to 32. I don't think he's an issue. He has won over that distance previously in a previous life in Europe, and he sort of rounds out my chances. So yeah, I'm quite keen that to narrow it down to, as I said, Land Legend definitely going to be my best way. Hopefully Absurde gets out a little bit around $10 or $11 at the moment. If he gets out to sort of $12, $13, I'll be happy with that. I think you've got to make Zardozi a winner at around the $16 mark. And Sea King, he's the one I'm hoping drifts. So I think he will, and he might get out late. They're the 4 that I think have to be winners. Easy to swap in Buckaroo for Sea King if you don't want to. It's probably the one. They're the 2 that are most swappable. And I think I just read an article just before I recorded this that Akita Sushi's already been heavily backed. So maybe I've missed the boat there, and he's not the value I thought, because he was sort of 20 to 1 this morning. But yeah, so at the moment, $19 Land Legend, $10, $11, $12 Absurde, I think is fair. $16 Zardozi is certainly fair, and Buckaroo, Sea King are probably the 2 that are interchangeable there, and I'm throwing all 5 of them in the quaddie. Hopefully that helps you guys. Good luck on the day. Obviously, it's usually a hard day, Melbourne Cup, and if we don't have any luck here, you know, it's you only got to find a winner or 2 on the day, and you usually come out in front, because it's a tricky day to really strike a blow. So good luck to everyone playing. Have a great day. Have some fun, and see you soon. Like, comment, subscribe, all those wonderful things. If you like these sorts of things and you want to see more, always appreciative of any sort of feedback, anything you want, whether it's, you know, educational stuff or previews, reviews. Always happy to try and put stuff out there that I think you know, people will enjoy, or can help them become better punters. Thanks, guys.